If you are an introverted STEM professional or somewhat more on the shyer side, and you find yourself overthinking a lot of time, getting stuck in your head, I need you to understand that is something that I go through or have gone through personally so deeply in my life to where I am now, where I'm very loose, socially loose, out of my head, able just to free flow and express myself as I would like to. If you can relate to any of this, and you're working in your STEM profession, medicine, software, engineering, you're doing a lot of logical work. You're doing a lot of programming. You're doing a lot of presentations. You're doing a lot of problem solving. And so you have to use your brain a lot, right? And when it then comes to being socially loose and out of your head and free flowing into the moment, it's much harder to switch into that mode. And especially where I used to came from, I would say things like, there's no reason for me to talk unless I'm spoken to. Everything else is a waste of words. Like, why would I speak? I have nothing to say, right? And so I would literally only talk when someone asked me a question, and I would literally just give them the answer and then go back to being quiet. And so I know what it is like to be super trapped in your head. And it's not like I didn't want to talk. It's just like I didn't know what to talk about, and I didn't think I was good enough for other people to listen or wanted to hear what I had to say. And it was a lot of those internal mindsets and beliefs that were making me trapped in my head and not doing the things that I wanted to do. And so maybe there was someone I wanted to talk to, a guy I wanted to talk to, maybe a girl I wanted to talk to, someone I wanted to meet. And this was extremely hard with especially bosses. I don't know, bosses, authority figures, people who were seen a little bit above me. Like, I would just have such a hard time talking. I'd feel so stuck in my head and kind of get trapped up in my thoughts. I didn't know why that was. Until I realized it was to the point of like the reason was, I'm looking at this person as an authority figure, and from authority figures I'm usually expecting to get in trouble from them, right? And a lot of the social skills that I had of me not believing my things I had to say were of value, not being socially loose, overthinking a lot of the things I wanted to say, came from a stressful childhood. And this is something I see in basically all my clients. The people I work with, to some degree, TAD, to a degree. That, and then their emotional support system too, their ESS. So the first two things I really talk about when I'm talking to anybody who wants to improve their social skills is, okay, how did you grow up? Like, what kind of energy and type of household did you grow up in? For me, it was, I didn't really feel comfortable. I always felt like I was kind of walking on eggshells. I didn't really feel accepted when I went out to other family gatherings. And in the household, it was good for the most part. It wasn't like a fucking horrible, place. It was nice sometimes. It was just sometimes it would get very loud and angry and chaotic and stressful. And in those times, mean things were said to me, comments were made, and just a lot of like kind of bad mindsets were instilled. A lot of bad ways of talking about emotions. I remember one day my brother was doing something the day before, and I just went to my mom and I was like, hey, can you talk to him about this? Like, he did this the other day and I felt very bad. Like, can you talk to him and tell him not to do that again? And instead of talking to him, like, she just walked out of her room, walked up to him, started yelling at him until he started crying, and then looked at me and was like, there you go. And I just kind of stood there like horrified because I didn't want that to happen. I didn't want my brother to start getting yelled at and start crying. I just wanted her to talk to him, right? And so it's little things like that which shape my mindset, shape his mindset, from just what I see, from what we see, from what you see, and now how you go out about your life, right? And so if there was some point in your life where you went to authentically express yourself, you were being yourself, and then from there you were put down, met with negative energy, well, you're going to say to yourself, don't do that again. And subconsciously, in your body, in your mind, you're going to have resistance from expressing yourself, especially around people that you find better than you. And this comes from a fear of rejection and a fear of judgment. And so around children, like, your fear of judgment should be very fairly low. It should be, because children aren't going to like really judge you at all. They're going to point you out, but like they don't really know anything about you, or the world, and their opinions do matter, of course, but like shouldn't matter about you. It's the same idea of an amazing footballer, like soccer player, and then maybe a kid comes up to him and says, "You're not a good soccer player." That soccer player is going to be like, "Okay, man, like yeah, you got it." But if like a world-renowned coach or another world-renowned soccer player comes up to that person and is like, "You're not a good soccer player," that's gonna hit more because it's coming from a different person who has more, from their perspective, their values or opinion are their opinions are valued way more. And so if someone I find more attractive than me, I find better than me, my boss, I find more popular than me, I find more charismatic than me, I find a better than me, basically, I'm going to make the same distinction of, oh, this person is higher than me, is more value than me, therefore I don't want to express myself and be authentically who I am, because they may see that, and in my past that has led to pain, and it's not the best, and I'm kind of like maybe ashamed or don't want to show all that part of me because I don't like it. And so you don't express yourself to the point that you would like to, of who you want to become, of who you are, and so you kind of get trapped in your head, you overthink, you're not as loose or fun as you would want to be, and that's all in your body is kind of conditioning of being like, okay, this person of value, do not upset them, do not, make them feel bad, do not get on their toes, don't make yourself look any worse than you already are, because if we do that, that person's going to see, and because they have, we value them as better than us, and then they reject us, then they judge us, that's going to hurt a lot. That's going to hurt a lot, right? And it's that same thing where you go back to your parents, and I see this again with literally all my clients to a degree. Some have it worse than others, but there's one lady I talked to who, when she would bring things up to her father of, that's things that were upsetting her, he would laugh it off and not be like super serious about it. And so what does that say to her? My feelings, my opinions, and my emotions don't really matter, right? And over time, as that goes on and on and on, what are you going to do with those opinions, feelings, and emotions? You're just going to keep them to yourself because they don't matter, right? And then she would, say things to her mom, and her mom would get stressful and loud and chaotic and yelling, and that really, it's and she took it well. Like, she handled the situation very well. She stayed calm in that type of environment. And then after they apologized, they made up to some degree. But still, just like events like that happen. Those moments of stress and triggeredness happen, and just a big blow up in the household. And if that happens frequently, often, like it kind of did in my house, a lot of yelling, a lot of chaos, in periods of time, a lot of stress in periods of time. That just kind of makes you want to stay away, makes you want to stay in your room, makes you want to stay in your head, makes you not want to be part of reality. And so you distance yourself from reality because reality is painful, right? And it's one of those things where you don't ask for it, but it happens to you, right? And it happened to me for a while. And around the age of 17, I was so stuck in my head, I knew I couldn't take it anymore. I knew if I wanted to grow up, I wanted to find a partner, I wanted to make friends, I wanted to be a person who was in control of his life. I needed to be able to do the things I wanted to do and not have a social anxiety, a fear of judgment, a fear of rejection, of me getting stuck in my head, of not knowing what to do, not knowing what to say, to block me from doing that. I've worked with a physician, and on his social skills, on his social anxiety, and it's such small things where you don't even kind of notice it, right? A lot of the times I had to go back into his childhood and see where his mindset would come from for why he couldn't be as expressive as he wanted to be in a conversation. And again, like, there's things that you can add. You can get better at storytelling, and you can practice that. You can get better at comedy. You can improve your humor. You can improve your wit. You can do all those things, but none of them are going to matter if you can't get the words out in a confident way because your fear of judgment is so high. And it's something you have to kind of chisel at, that wall of judgment, that fear of judgment that you do have. You chisel it, it goes down, it goes down, it goes down, and you become socially loose. And you also have good conversational skills underlying that, where you know how to start a conversation, you can be engaging, you know how to lead and carry a conversation and be fun in that. Like, those are probably the most vital skills in the world to have just on a human level, right? Like, it's amazing to have an engineering degree. It's amazing to have your computer science degree or your biology, your medicine degree, but like when it comes to talking to another person, that's like the most basic human need, to be able to socialize, to connect with other people, to be loose and fun. That's how you live life, right? But if you're stuck in this like logical in your head, you can't be loose with that person that you want to be, well, your relationships aren't going to be there, friendships aren't going to be there, your confidence isn't going to be there. All these things are just coming from like your ability to socialize with other people, and those are coming from your mindsets, which come from your childhood, right? And so it's just rewiring or reframing, looking at all that stuff, identifying it, auditing yourself when those things do come out, and then recorrecting your actions, which should recorrect the mindset. And doing both of those at the same time, and then you kind of do that over time, and it changes who you are. A big example from my life was just like such a small one-off thing that you wouldn't even suspect. There was one day where my girlfriend called me one day, and I was like, I looked at the phone, and I got angry just looking at it. I was having a good day. I was backing out of my driveway, and she just called me. I saw the name on my screen. I was like, ugh! I got anger in my body. And then I just paused for a second, because I was like, what the fuck? Why is my natural response anger? I'm having a good day, backing out my driveway, about to go to the gym, and my girlfriend calls me. I'm getting the sense of anger inside of me. For what reason, right? And I literally stopped my car. I was parked back in the driveway, and I was like, for 20 minutes, I just sat there being like, why the fuck did I just get angry? And I was just going back in my head and trying to remember all the types of things where this kind of event happened before, of getting a call from a partner, and then why would I get angry from that? And I look back in my past, I look back in my head, and I say, oh, every time I saw my mom answer a call or get a call from her partner, her response a lot of the time was like negative. It was like, hold on. It was like, ah. And so I was just recreating what I saw because it was only what I saw, right? I didn't have in my brain the concept of seeing that and being like, oh, hey, right? And so I had to recreate it from that moment, but I have to self-audit the mindset and the action I had, the emotions I had, and then change it from there, right? And knowing what to do to change it. And that's such a small thing, right? My fucking girlfriend calling me, someone calling me as I'm backing out the driveway, I'm getting angry because of that. It's such a small, minute thing, but the mindset's from all the way over there. And it just happens, right? And if I were just to be autopilot and answer it, I would answer in a bad mood, and I would give bad energy. And like the whole thing is just changed from that moment on. Same thing if I go to start a conversation, right? The mindset I have is this: I'm a burden. This person maybe doesn't want to talk to me. I'm interrupting them. I don't know what to say. It will be weird. All those kind of negative things stopping you. That used to be my mindset, right? And all those things came back from a childhood, some events in childhood. But that's not true, right? If you want to go talk to someone, you're not ruining their day by going up and giving them a good energy, maybe a compliment, just asking them, being interested in. That's like everything positive. But you have all these negative, things attached to it because of your childhood. So it's going back, it's rewiring those negative mindsets, getting out of those negative mindsets so you can be in a place of confidence and a positive mindset, a healthy way of thinking, and then taking the actions in your conversations, in your interactions, to do that thing, to be more expressive, to be more out there and loose, right? And then it's adding things like being more playful in your conversations, carrying the conversation, misinterpretations, callbacks, stories. Like, there's so much you can have fun with in a convo talking to another person. And I've enjoyed that beautifully with random people, in relationships, with my friends, just being more loose. it's one of the most amazing things to do, just to let go, be loose, and talk the shit with someone. Opens up so many doors for you too. But if you can't do that because you're stuck in your head, you don't know what to say, you don't know how to do it, that's something that unfortunately is not going to change unless you make the effort every day, the constant effort to do it, or invest in yourself to push yourself to get to that point that you want to become. So yeah, that's been this video. I hope you guys enjoyed a little bit of stories about myself. If you want more help with this, want my own personal coaching to improve your social skills, get out of your head, be more socially confident, have the relationships, at least be able to talk so you can have the relationships that you want, right? At least have the skills so you could get into a relationship. At least have the skills so you can have a good, fun conversation, right? So if that is you, you're a STEM professional, I only work with people over 25, so if you're younger than that, no point in booking a call. But with that, I hope you guys enjoyed. Peace out. Bye. Love you.